In this session, I want to teach you the advanced timer menu, how to use effect controls, and how to create keyframes. My name is Iman Talakuli, and I would like to welcome you to this Adobe Premiere Pro training session. Well, in this session, I want to teach you about the Effect Controls panel. From the window menu, enable the Effect Controls and Effects panels. After enabling Effect Controls, it will be positioned right next to the source monitor, and we refer to it as the Effect Controls panel. As for the Effects panel, it is located within the Project Panel menu at the bottom of the screen. Occasionally, you might find that the Effects menu is positioned on the right side of the interface. By clicking and dragging it, you can place it anywhere you want within your Premiere workspace. Okay, I am going to drag my video file into Premiere Pro. I take a few of my raw files. I drag and drop them into Premiere. Okay, once you have dragged your raw footage into Premiere Pro, it is turned off in your Effect Controls menu. You definitely need to click on the specific part of the clip under your playhead. Once you click, the motion settings will be displayed in this way. When you open the Motion tab, you will interact with the first setting. The position setting controls movement from left to right and top to bottom. Okay, to change the position values, you can either type the numbers or click and drag your mouse. The left side is left bracket, the right side is top. Look. This specific icon represents the reset button for your default settings. When you are on position and your tool is on move, you are able to move it around easily. Please keep in mind that if this position section is deselected, your move scale will no longer function. Excuse me, the move function will not work. The position section must be enabled so that you can move it with the move tool. So the position section corresponds to the left bracket and the top. Take a look. The scale section is zooming, which involves zooming in and zooming out to position your frame. Whichever section you happen to be on, you can zoom in or zoom out. Use the position section to change its position around and get the exact shape you are looking for. Choose exactly where you want to position it. Place it, okay? This symbol here is the reset button for your work. Well, under the scale settings, there is a section for non-uniform scaling. This specific section allows you to deform the scale horizontally and vertically, though usually in media they do not do this. Maybe in programs like Photoshop or Illustrator you might do this, but in media you should not deform your image unless something happens, like with a logo or somewhere you are forced to deform your image a little. On time, or usually always, this uniform scale checkbox must be checked so it scales from both sides. Rotation option for turning, so if I enter 180 degrees here, I rotate my whole video, or I can rotate my video like this. In fact, it rotates. And if I reset it, it returns to its default state. The anchor point, you can see this section here. By moving the anchor points manually or by number when you use rotation, it rotates based on your anchor point angle. If I bring it here and rotate it again, by your anchor point, and based on the anchor point angle it moves or even scales. So for this reason you can also move your anchor points around or change their state. When you reset it, it will go back exactly to the center of your page for you to create it. Opacity is the image clarity that you can increase or decrease. So next to this frame, I will bring another frame onto the frame. In the opacity section, we said you can reduce the image clarity to see two images simultaneously. You see that if I play it, you see two images are playing at the same time. If you have worked with Photoshop software, you are familiar with the blending mode section. The blend mode is essentially the combination of two images layered together. If I set this to multiply, you can see this part of the film on. It becomes darkened and reveals my underlying film. If I set it to screen, it gets a transparent look, and if I lighten it, it takes on that same transparent state. Try the initial one, which effectively brightens the two images together, and pure overlay or any other section. Try this out one by one and work with them yourself. In fact, just like in Photoshop, you will learn how to work with it. It really depends on the type of footage you are using. Width, to see if multiply is good here, or screen is good, or maybe not. Keep it normal and adjust the opacity of your image. Lower or increase. This is so you can adjust the size of your two images and work with them. Hop. Guys, when I am right here, I zoom here. Well, guys, when I increase the scale setting for this specific image here, this FX becomes active and indicates that an effect is being applied to this. In our effects panel, if I were to, for example, one, like now, create an effect, basic, for example, I'll bring in 3D. I am going to take an effect and place it right onto my image. I'll put it here. You will see that the effect you applied to your image is clearly displayed in the FX section. Every single effect that you drag and drop onto your image will appear in the menu. Shown in Effect Controls, you can press delete to remove it or toggle the eye icon to turn it on or off. We are going to talk more about effects together, but now we want to fully work on effect controls. We have already talked about the position section, the scale and the rotation markers, and the timeline section that we are currently working with and know exactly how it functions. 1 point. Sometimes your videos are 4K. When you import it, let me go ahead and bring this in now. Actually, reduce the fit. Well, if I happen to have downloaded this video file in 4K resolution, and the sequence that I have created is 1080 by 1923. My work quality is much higher. I can either reduce the size using scale or reposition it to the exact point I want. How can I work when I bring in a 4K video without losing quality? To make it fit, go to Edit, select Preferences. Well, media section, from noun option, I will go ahead and click set to frame size and it is fine. Whenever I click this, my video is 4K resolution. It fits based on this well. Why not? Because I changed the scale and it is not 4K. Let me mention a point here. Well, a point here too. There are two things that happened in this section. Name it to be natural, scale to frame. It will lower your 4K quality and make the size smaller. The set to frame size option does not lower quality, it just adjusts size to the sequence. It will adjust the things you have created. Well, next point. Guys, I am going to select this footage, change the scale, set the start time, and adjust other settings, and change the effect controls. I would like this to be applied to all the other footage clips. One method is that I can right click on the motion tab here. Then I go to the next frame and press Ctrl V so that the effects are applied. The second way is for me to go ahead and press Ctrl C on this item. Then come to this part. Right click and choose the Paste Attributes option from the menu, which will apply every single effect that you have in this specific area. Apply to these. It asks you to check motion, opacity, and the rest. Is it okay? I say yes. It asks what that means and says these motions are. The changes you made to motion and opacity are fine. I say yes. If I had added any effects, they would be analyzed here. And it will be applied to my entire image. Now we see a reset. Guys, inside the project menu, in the project menu, we had an option called Adjustment Layer. What is it? It is essentially a transparent layer, which has no light or color, or is in fact an empty layer. If I were to go to the Effects menu, Gaussian Blur, the Gaussian blur, if I were to drag this onto the layer and then increase the Gaussian blur in the effect controls here, I do. An adjustment layer has been created here, and if I turn it off, you can see it hasn't harmed the footage at all. If I want to apply this to all of the footage by dragging it, you can see it is applied, or maybe I say it shouldn't be on this footage. I will copy this adjustment layer and bring it over here to place it. When would I create an adjustment layer? I want to create a few effects and color grades. Am I doing this right? To ensure I do not damage my original footage, I will create an adjustment layer and apply my effects and colors there. I apply them to the adjustment layer so it doesn't hurt my footage, or I can copy it elsewhere. So that is the effects control menu. I really hope that you found this tutorial helpful, and in the next session we will discuss keyframes. We will work on a simple edit. If you have just joined my channel, please make sure to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell. See you in the next tutorial.